Welcome back to GBGuns Armory, the series in which going over stuff that's already been reviewed in full on the main channel. The purpose of these videos here is to give you a little more of my thoughts and feels, since the main reviews are all the facts and performance, as well as to turn this into sort of, I'd like to see a Reddit library of end user thoughts, experiences, etc. The main channel, we're always hitting stuff right as it comes out, new guns usually. Over here, stuff's been out for a while, so chances are you've shot it, held it, owned it, thought about it, know someone who has. Let us know, share your thoughts on that stuff down below. Today, we're talking about the Walther WMP. The WMP is the Walther Magnum pistol, chambered in 22 Magnum. And as you can see, we've got a fiber optic front sight, we've got optics readiness, nice tall sights to hopefully help with that. It is hammer fired, and we've got paddle mag release and button mag release. Both types of mag releases on both sides of the gun, as it should be. I wish this is a feature that Walther would integrate into all their stuff. I'm one of those nerds that thinks this is faster and easier than shifting my grip to hit the button. I use my middle finger to hit there. I know some people like to use their trigger finger to hit on the right side. Some folks can reach with their thumb on the other side. But anyways, yeah, full ambi controls on everything for this. This was a really cool piece. I'm not super into 22 Magnum, but I know some folks are. It is fun in how loud it is and yet how little recoil you get. It's big boom, and then like the gun just goes boop boop and moves. The size of this thing is beefy. I mean, my XXL glove hands wrap around it comfortably with plenty of room, and the texturing, as you can see, is kind of a little more PPQ era than PDP era, but a cool piece. And I've got a great relationship with Walther, been working with them for years, and when they reached out to me about this, I said, well, it's really not my thing, but sure, I'll give it a try. There were some restrictions on ammunition, at least suggested ammunition, which Walther smartly posts on their website. So there's no question about it. Everything's out there ready to be. And of course, in the What's for Dinner test, we demonstrated why that exists, because we ran some loads that they don't recommend. And guess what? The gun didn't cycle perfectly for it. So it does require a bit of energy because of the, man, I swear, my options are asthma or use the inhaler and then have to cough. Anyways, I found this to be really pleasant to shoot. And one of the things that had turned me away from 22 Magnum for so long was I thought it was absurdly expensive for what you get. It just didn't make sense. And in collecting up ammo for this and getting a refresh on prices, I realized that 22 Magnum really has come down a lot in prices. It makes it much more reasonable to shoot. It's a fun round. It gives you a little more than 22, obviously. It's not quite a 380 or something like that. But there are applications and people who want something that is a little more, say, pest control around the farm, around the ranch kind of gun that's got plenty of energy, and 22 Magnum certainly does that without being overbore like a conventional handgun caliber. Additionally, for those that are recoil sensitive, 22 Magnum is really soft to shoot, and it's certainly something that nobody volunteers to be shot with. So as a defensive tool, now this might be a bit big to carry concealed outside the waistband, sure, but as a bedside gun or house gun, it could work. It's just going to be really freaking loud. That loudness, however, is loud for both parties. So if you don't mind your ears ringing, you're definitely going to be scaring somebody. So there's that aspect to it. The fact that it's hammer fired is nice because the trigger, and yeah, I'm going to dry fire this thing for you guys to see. We have very light take up, very crisp break with very short travel, and our reset is moderate, which I think is appropriate. It's nothing crazy. It's not quite a race gun, but it can be run quickly because you've got great traction. I mean, the texture on this really holds onto your hand, and you have texture up front for your support thumb or index point for your firing finger. So because there's no recoil, you can really just let it fly. And I believe, yeah, 15 rounds which is plenty. One thing to keep in mind though, if you're considering 22 Magnum, is it's a long cartridge, so the front to rear of the grip can feel long. A lot of 22 mag guns end up feeling like you're holding a 1x2 or a 1/2 2 inch piece of board, because they don't need to be very fat. It's not a very fat cartridge, but they do need to be long to fit all that in there. And so that can be a thing. It might be my hands, it might be Walther's Ergonomics, but this to me doesn't feel too awkward like that. I think it's nicely rounded, and it's something that Tia has pointed out in her shooting experiences with her smaller than my hands, is that having open space here allows for good room for the support hand. So you can sometimes, for some folks and some grip shapes and hand shapes, having extra space on the left side of the gun or right side for left-handed really allows you to get your support hand on there better. And in that way, you can almost have better total control with a gun that feels like it might be a little too big for your grip. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that with the hand size and placement. If you guys have ever shot one of the longer cartridge guns like a 22 Magnum. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts were on the WMP. It came out, kind of didn't get too much noise, and then got quiet, and it seems like in the last week or so, suddenly there's been a whole lot more interest on the WMP. And I think that's a good thing, because it's not a bad gun. Like, I enjoyed shooting it, and I still have a whole pile of 22 Magnum to maybe someday get back out to the range and enjoy it. One of the catches of creating as much content as I do here over on the main channel of at least a gun a week is pretty much every time I'm at the range, it's to shoot something new for the first time. And so it's a rare special occasion when I get back to the range with something I've already shot and have time for it, let alone shoot for enjoyment. I mean, I always enjoy shooting. Shooting is fun, but it's not very often that I get to go back and revisit something. I'm probably going to make a list and then just block off on the calendar like, hey, this is going to be my fun day, because I think we all deserve a little fun sometimes, right? That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.